Welcome back. I'm Hawley McLean with Trainli TV and the Alpine and Western Pacific Railroad. And we're starting on episode 7 on building the Kleine Scheidegg train station. So what we're going to be doing in this episode is putting the tile floors in and painting the interior walls and kind of figuring out the next steps after that. So what we've done here is I've removed all the roof pieces and so forth. And what we need to do is I'm going to trace the inside walls so that we can then put the tile down and grout it, and then we'll put the walls back in. But we want that little line going around to make sure that we aren't putting the tile on in the spot where the walls actually go. So I'll start with my Sharpie here. Right there's the ticket office. I'm going to call this spot right here kind of the utility room or the utility closet. Not going to put any tile in here, but we'll just kind of mark out where the walls go. And then onto the restaurant. We got to paint this wall green. The second floor will be cream colored, and then we kind of a light brown for the wall in here and up here. And then this we have a light blue for the insides of this area. And this guy, we want to make sure these all fit first. So that's a nice fit. What I think I'm going to do in this is just have one row of tiles there. Doesn't need to be super tight, and it'll be behind the counter anyway. Next up is the dining room here, the restaurant. And I found this really nice tile. That will work nicely. Kind of more of an elegant look for the restaurant. You're going to come down right like that. So that fits nicely. What I'm going to do is we're going to trim the edges right here and these tiles right along that side. So we'll go outside and trim those real quick, and then we'll come back and finish this side here, cut a strip out. So I've just completed cutting out all the tile and have it just test fit on the floor of the train station. So we have the cargo ticket office, and that looks good. We got the dining room, that looks nice, and the gift shop here at the north end of the building. So what I want to do is we're going to pull this out and use the regular landscape adhesive. And we'll glue this in, and we'll just do section by section. I want to be careful and stay away from the exterior walls and the interior walls as well, because we will be removing these in just a little while before it completely sets up, make sure it's not glued to them, and then finish painting the interior walls, and then we'll put it all back together. And then while we have all the walls off, we'll go ahead and grout this after it sets up for a little bit. So I have just completed cutting out all the tile for the 3 main sections of the train station. We have the cargo station here with the tile fitting nicely. This one was pretty easy to do. It was a simple pattern. This one took a little bit more time to match the pattern on this last little bit of a row here, but we got a nice fit in there. And then we have the gift shop up front at the northern end of the building. So this is all ready to go. And when we're going to just use regular old landscape adhesive to attach it. And we want to make sure we don't get it too goopy around the edges, because we're going to take these walls off shortly after it starts setting up, so that we can easily grout this and also finish painting the interiors of the building. And let's go ahead and start down here at the cargo office. We'll pull these out. I'm going to take this one last piece out also. Just a little bit more room. Okay. Get some gloves on. And I'll just do a little section at a time. I bet you I can take this section off. And I'll make it easier to get in there as well. Oh, much nicer. Okay. Then I'll come back and get that other end. We'll put you right here. And I like to give these just a little wiggle so that it kind of smooths that stuff around a little bit. All right, and we got the next set of rows right here. And make sure that they're lined up nicely. And like I mentioned before, I'm going to have the gap. There'll be a little bit of gap in this other room here, and I'm going to have that at this end because it'll be covered up by the little ticket counter that we'll put in here eventually. Excellent, that turned out nice. Can't see the seams anywhere. All right, let's start on the restaurant floor. By the way, this, we've eaten in this restaurant several times, and it is very good. So this restaurant here in real life serves all the traditional Swiss mountain foods and so forth. And a lot of people don't realize that the Swiss in Switzerland make fantastic wines. They make really great reds and whites, and they export less than 2%. All their wine they pretty much consume in Switzerland, and the majority that gets exported is exported to the little villages that surround Switzerland. But if you're ever in Switzerland, get a chance to try their wines. One of our favorite ones is the two favorite ones are they call, my dad nicknamed it the dining car dole. It's a red blend, beautiful, great, kind of like their everyday wine, but it's very good, and it was always served in the dining cars on the Swiss trains, and you can still get it. And for those of you who like the white wines, they make a lovely white wine called a fondant, and that wine is really yummy too. So when you're there in Switzerland, come on up to this restaurant and order some dole or fondant and have some cheese fondue or raclette. Oh, and the roasties up here are really good too. They're kind of like a bit of they take these really flavorful potatoes, kind of make them into hash browns, serve them in a little cast iron skillet, and then they put like raclette cheese or Gruyere cheese or and eggs and earth sausage and all that. and those are really, really good. So it's pretty fun to hang out in this restaurant. And these windows here look straight up out at the Eiger and the Jungfraujoch and the glaciers. Spectacular views. And this station is basically the transfer station, so you can come up from either side of the mountain, and then this is where you change to catch the last train that goes all the way up to the top of the Jungfraujoch. We have an adventure tour company also, and we take people on spectacular trips around the world. And when I was taking pictures and measuring this out, we had one of the best ski days we've ever had in 20 plus years. And what had happened was, over the weekend it was very busy, and then that Sunday night, everybody, the villages kind of emptied out. It was end of the vacation, and everybody headed back to town. And that night, of course, they have these lots of a whole army of groomers, and they went out and groomed all the main runs and most of the mountain to this perfect corduroy. And then it snowed probably about 2.5 feet or so overnight of super dry powder. The next morning, it was crystal blue sky, nobody out there, and this huge mountain to ski on this fluffy down powder snow on top of absolutely perfectly groomed runs. And almost every single run from top to bottom was like that, practically trackless, hardly anybody else out there. And just one of those magical times when you're out skiing and you get just a wonderful, wonderful conditions that all come together. And it was a pleasant temperature and crystal blue skies. So it was a huge hit.